Okay. I just want to start off by saying thank you, God. You know, sometime as target individual, the target individual that I am, the psychological warfare, the cognitive warfare is something that is laughable and frustrating and draining and it's tiresome. But I don't know, like it's just a mixture. Like the way we are being manipulated in this cognitive warfare that we are enduring because we're just these test subjects, it's just crazy. It takes a lot of you, but at the same time you're like, Jesus, I'm so thankful I don't have to live life like that. I don't even know what, like when I left, it's a mixture of like the level of comicalness and the frustration. I'm so glad I don't have to live like this purpose. That's one thing I have to say. Listen, what I'm going through is so tiresome. I don't have the end. It just drains you. It fatigues you. It breaks you down. It's just really just tiresome. But I couldn't imagine living life the way these people did. I know I'm gonna be so tortured, but I'm telling you, the reason why this is happening is because they're so desperate to create this fantasy, and they think that the way I'm gonna be tortured and tormented is gonna make this persona and storyline acceptable. They are they've sold their soul to these entities, these perps, these civilians. They sold their soul to this entity, and they have accepted to dumb themselves down for whatever purpose. Because I'm not identifying with this. They sold their soul, they sold their children's soul. They literally tell me how they're gonna frame you using their children. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I reassure you that you should get your stuff in your affair in orders one way or another, because this level of just being compromised is magical. I understand perps become very illogical for the purpose of the gaslight, but those are the things that are gonna stick with them after I'm dead. Whatever I go through, let's just say ends in whatever horrible ways they're talking about. These people can now move forward and be just normal people. Like this is so, and the stupidity, and I put that in their faces every day. When this is over with me, I can reassure you they're not gonna walk around thinking, oh yeah, we just have to be so stupid. There's a grown man who tells me how my testicles are gonna be ripped because he wanted me to accept these perceptions and this retardation of logic. I'm like, please, where are we? Let's go, Gabe. You are so sad in the sense that you're trying to use this torture or this warning of torture to try to box in this thing. Listen, one thing that it can do, this technology does, is alter your mind, right? It can make you have feelings, sensation, reaction that they want you to have. The perps want you to accept these manipulations. They want to, right now they're doing everything possible for you to think that you're not being altered. When there's a whole Project Pandora, and it's all kind of, it's validated that the DoD has been working on technology that can alter the mind. It's beyond validated. They have these people doing everything possible. Now we're mining your, and they know that it's just no way I'm going to be acceptive of something that, first of all, I know myself, and I know you manipulated my brain. They literally, they're using childlike people who are trying to tell you, no, we're minded. It's like, no, trash, this is what you do. You alter the mind and you want somebody to accept this persona. Trash bottom feeders, pathetic low life. This bottom feeder is so compromised that they're even framing you using their kids. Let me tell you how bad it is right now. What's happening today is when I see somebody who's a kid, who's a young person, who might even be a young adult, I'm forced to get stimulations, right? Because they want you to be identified with this manipulation. Is this cognitive warfare where they are degrading you in this fashion? It's systematic. It's not only done to me, they've done that to others. This is something that you're going to hear at the target individuals. They're playing my emotion, they're playing my reaction, they're playing my stimulation. And they do these things where they want you to start seeing yourself in the way they manipulate you. The perps do everything possible to try to make you accept it. Now we're not manipulating you, we're mining you. And they use very childlike people that truly agitate you for the purpose of Well, now it's just agitating. It's not even acceptable. It's like, I know you put it in my brain. Let me tell you how bad it is. And they have no shame. When I mean shame, I'm saying like, like the shame that you're gonna sound stupid. The shame that this is just, how stupid am I gonna make myself be? Like that kind of shame. They don't have that. They think that they can be as clown-like as they can with all the validation that they have, that a target individual, you are validated, that emotions can be manipulated, reaction can be manipulated, thought process can be manipulated. And it's been happening since August 19, 2019 for me. I've made thousands of videos now saying the same thing. I'm looking at somebody, if this person is a child, stimulation. If that person look like a child, stimulation. I know they gave me this. Matter of fact, it's like spice of the sense now. If I feel something like that, it's like, okay, there's a child here, because they make me have this reaction. It's crazy. I know they manipulate my brain like that. But they're literally reconstructing your brain to identify with this manipulation. Now listen to this. It's so sad. I'm going to, me and somebody on a date, not a date, but we stay over the night, and I was around her place. We go to this busy place in New York, Midtown New York. It's a brunch place. It's full, it's Sunday, full of people. We go there, this person comes in, she's like the host, right? She looks, young in the sense that you don't know if she's like in college. At this point, I'm looking at the place like this is probably like she's a college student working here, and she's a host here, right? She's regular, like it's just like, you don't care too much. It's like, okay, just a regular young person, right? She walk us to the table. It's just normal. Like I'm not like paying too much attention. I don't even care too much about her. It's like, okay, whatever. Okay, thank you. Nothing. Now, and that make me scratch here, because usually that's what they try to do. Now, me and you see, they're doing this thing on purpose so they can try to make it hard for me to speak, or try to make it seem like it. So now I'm talking with the person I'm there, this and that. We get the check, and I leave the card there, and this host comes, and she's just sticking around so long. But now I'm starting to feel like extreme stimulation. I'm like, oh crap, is this a kid? The reason why I'm saying that is because I know these stimulations. It's like, I'm feeling stimulations. I'm feeling extreme stimulations. I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this? Like, I'm not even paying attention to her. So she just wants to stick around and grabs the card, and just like there, just try to like make me. She want to be seen by me, and I'm not even looking at her. She's just taking her time, like slowly, because obviously she knew that my brain is being manipulated to get some reaction. So at that point, it's like, I don't know what this person is, but they want me to have some reaction toward her. I don't know if she's like an adult, or it's like, it's those people that you don't know either way, right? And at the end, again, when we leave, she opens the door and she just stares at me. I can feel her here looking at me. I was like, I feel something. They're forcing me to get stimulation. I know it's what they do to me. It's like the feelings they can make me have. And I don't even know. I can't tell exactly. She's just like a college student or somebody who's still like in high school. I don't know, right? It's like where it goes either way. But I can feel the stimulation. Listen to how bad it is now. As I'm saying that, they tell me I'm going to be railed, I'm going to be tortured. You guessed it. The reason why this person is saying that at this moment is because they try to box in this out. They want me to identify with this. They have this cognitive and psychological game that they think that whatever horrible is going to happen to me, it's going to make me accepting of this. Listen to how stupid it gets. They're like, okay. Before we started to do these manipulations, did you feel something? It's like, no, I didn't care. I just saw her as a regular person working here. Like, you don't even care too much. It's like, okay, just a regular person. Nothing, good for her. Nothing. But now they try to play around my memories of that. It's like, don't. But before we start, and listen, they're admitting that they're making me have reaction. But it's like, before we start making you feel this reaction, did you feel something? The people who are literally forcing you to have sexual stimulation toward her, obviously having the agenda to make you have reaction to that, telling you, before we start doing that, before we start playing with your emotions in this obvious way, did you feel something? There's a grown man who somehow wants me to think that because I'm gonna be tortured in whatever fashion, it makes sense. So you tell me, you who started making me having emotions and stimulation toward this person are really observing and mapping. Obviously, you have an agenda to create these things, and my memories now, they're kind of blending things, because I remember just going there, just thinking she's just a normal person, like not getting anything. Okay, she's just, like nothing, but they're changing a little bit things around. Try to put stimulation before that happened. I'm like, you're trash. Now, I don't know if she's an adult, a young adult, or like a late teen, pre-adult kind of person. I don't know if either way. One can just, for me, I would say it looked like more like an early college student. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not here to guess these things, but that's why I'm thinking, well, or not. But the stimulation is what they make me experience. And they're like, oh, they're going to be real for it, this and that. This trash, I have no shame. And they're making those campaigns as if like, oh, these people who literally made me have, regardless of what she is, literally made me have some sexual stimulation to her. I'd rather die in hell. Thank you, God. Thank you. Right now they're going to my memories, trying to make me have stimulation when she was walking us to a table. This regular young person. Nothing. But now they're forcing me to have sexual stimulation. Oh, no, there is. Yes, there's people who are forcing me to have sexual emotion and reaction to people. I wonder who are there. And they try to really use this moment where they literally made me have this reaction. And it's like, no, there is. Yes. Who would make me have sexual reaction toward these people? These people I pray that, one thing they like to say is like, oh, we're AI. I was like, I hope you're not. I truly hope that you're human beings dedicating your life to be this retarded. I pray that you are literally dedicating your time like this, because this time is never going to be taken back from you. I do pray that these people live life like this for real. That this is not a bot of some sort. That it's a human being who wakes up thinking of how can we make this person accepting of this. I'd rather get my balls ripped than having lived a life like this, where my limited time on this, my precious time, is dedicated to come up with these fantasies and storylines, even using moments where you stimulated me, obviously, but you say, no, but before did you feel like, so before you start stimulating me toward this person, right? Are you asking, did you not get what you just said? You're asking me before you utilize this technology, or at least when it was obvious that this technology was being utilized, it's crazy. And they give me stimulation now in my memories. Like, I was like, okay, whatever. I saw it normal. It just didn't faze me. And if they do that to young people who I think they're young adults, I don't even care. I was like, okay, whatever. But when it became that intense, I was like, okay, is this a kid? Like that. When they make me have this stimulation, it's like a spidey sense. I was on a date one day, waiting for my date. I feel like a stimulation. I'm like, there's a kid here. They're forcing me to have these sensations. That's how bad it is. In my brain, they're playing these games with me and try to make me acceptive. And so for me, initially, when they do these things and I think they're like a young adult, I don't care. I'm like, I'm okay, whatever. So I'm like, you forced me to have sexual stimulation to this person. Now, initially, when she walked us to the table, I'm like, okay, this is a young adult. Whatever thing that I can be experiencing is like, okay, whatever. It's just, I don't care. But when it gets intense, it's like, oh, no, these people, like, they're really doing some serious things. Is she a kid? And then when I left, oh my gosh. So this is the things they do. And now they're like, no, but before I'm not even sure if they were doing something or not, but I didn't care too much, because once I perceive you as like somebody who's an adult, and they make me have these things, I'm like, oh, I don't care, whatever. That's our table, okay, whatever. But it was nothing too intense. But then something they start making me have this intense reaction, really intense. I'm like, oh God, is this a kid? Do you understand? And they're like, no, you see, that's proof. It's proof that you're forcing me to have reaction, emotion, and stimulation toward people. Because you have an agenda to pay me in a certain way. You have proved that you are forcing me to have reactions. That's the stimulation is what you can do. This person, this young person, will do nothing to me naturally. I will not. Let me tell you. And I'm not saying this is an ugly person. But I will not, I'm like, okay, she's just some young person. Like, it would, like nothing. It's okay. But you have to be strong. And I'm saying that, and saying that to myself, I need to practice what I'm preaching, because truly I will have altered reactions. Sometimes the reaction, and my mind, my memories are now being blurred a little bit, but if initially I'm thinking that you're an adult and I'm feeling something that they can make me experience, I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like, yeah, it's okay. You know, like, it's not natural, but it's just, you're an adult, young, so whatever they can force me to have, I don't care. They probably, you know, they do that to young adults. So like, actually, like young adults. Sometimes they've done it to people my age. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, but when they start doing it more, and there's this person really wanted to be like seen, I'm like, oh, are you a kid? Okay. It's like, okay. Sometimes the intensifier is like, okay, now I'm like, okay, yo, if they this aggressive on this person, she must be a child. And they play with my emotion, and then they're like, no, but before we made it so intense, did you feel something else? Jesus. You understand how sad it is? And they really, now what they're doing is like, oh, but before we start making you feel this intense feeling toward this person, what did you feel? I was like, Jesus. When they do these things, it will make me have a little bit of a feeling of some sensation on somebody who's just a young adult, who I think is a young adult. I don't care. I don't pay too much attention to it. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's just they give me that little weird feeling. It's just so I don't. It just gets away. Like I ignore that. So it's like, okay. They do that all the time when somebody looks like they're young, even if they're young adult. Right now, if I go into like Tinder and I look for somebody who's 21, 22, I'll have some feeling, sensation that I don't have when I'm looking at like a 30-some-year-old and just because they look young. So that's the kind of things they can do. So for me, when they have that happen, I just ignore it. Right? It's just like not a. It's just a thing that I can ignore. And I look at her as like just a regular person. They may be just doing a little something there, but it doesn't. You know, I don't take that seriously. I don't feel this seriously. But when they start doing the intense feeling, when it's intense to the point where it's like, okay, this person is probably a child then. I'm gauging people's age based on how they make me react. That's how crazy it is now. I'm talking about those who like harder to tell, like those young adults, late teen, like, you know, those age group that's kind of blur, like around there. I gauge their age based on the stimulation I'm manipulated to experience, the emotions. It's like, oh, this is so intense, she must be a child. That's how things have become with me. And you have this purpose here, it's like, oh, now you're gonna be this and that. Can you imagine? That's how my life is. And you have this purpose, this illusory of a human being, oh, they're gonna rape your balls. So I was like, you forced me to get so much intense stimulation that I thought this person ended up being like, is she a teenage kid now? Trash ass. Let's go get my balls ripped. People are living life out here forcing people to get emotion stimulation and try to make them accepting of the things they can make. Trash. And then they sold their kids. I am thankful that I never lived life where I'm so compromised to that level. I'm compromised that my body is destroyed, my mind is compromised, I'm being manipulated, but I'm not compromised where I could look at myself and say, oh my gosh, I lived a life where I'm really trying to bring up the things that we manipulate this person to experience, try to make him like, oh no, but before the extreme feelings, what did you feel before? It's like, just walk me to my table, whatever they can make me feel in this like moments. And my memory is a little blurred. Because what I remember the most is when I sat down and then she starts standing next to me, like she's trying to grab the check. Oh, the intensity there. That was like, oh. And she was taking her time. I was ignoring her. She was like literally like, and I'm talking to my date here. She's on the side picking up the thing, but slowly. So they're like, no, but before when she walked through there, did you feel? I was like, I'm sure you guys put a little something. If anybody looks young, they're gonna make me have a think, a something. Right now, a 20-year-old, if I see her, they will give me a little feeling. Right now, I have coworkers. They are this, just because they're like 20 years old, I'm gonna get a stimulation. That's it. I'm expected to have some. So, but when I think that they're just young adults, I just ignore them. It's like, okay. That's the things that's how life is with me right now. They manipulate me this way. I have coworkers. People I know they're adults. They're coworkers. They're getting checks to their name. If I see her, boom, stimulation. I had a coworker. Every day she gets on camera of stimulation. I have a coworker right now that I can look at on LinkedIn. If I see her, stimulation. She's an adult. So I'm like, this is. Because she looks young, like she, in my mind, she can look like she's like a teenage kid, but she's like an adult who graduated, who has a job and everything. So this is the things I deal with. So initially, when I see these younger people, I'm like, okay, I'm expected to have some reaction because they want me to experience that. It's disgusting. So I almost like block it out. I take that out of it. It's like, this is what they do. But once they intensify it, then I'm like, okay, this is more. There's something going, there's more to it. The way they intensify this person's like, now I still don't know if she's like a kid, a teenage kid or a young adult, but this level of intensity of stimulation they make me have, this is what they usually do toward teenage kid. That's why I'm leaning toward more teenager now. But she looks more like she's like a, initially I thought it was a college student. This is how I'm gauging people's age. It's depending on how much stimulation they force me to have. This is crazy. So for me, it's just that, and them trying to be like, no, but before you felt a little something. If she looks young, I'm gonna be forced to get some kind of stimulation. I'm not saying she's young as a kid, but young as a young adult. That alone. Right now, if I see a 22-year-old, they're gonna force me to get stimulation. She's young. That's it. It's nasty. But when it's that, I can like, it's just like I erase that. Like it's just like, okay, well, it's like I expect that from them, so I can block that out. So I can just like actually perceive her like as you're just normal. But my brain is being played a little bit for me to look at you this way because you're a young person, and I mean young, even a young adult. But when it's the intent and it's now it's like, oh, you must be a kid then, or something like that, because this is getting the intensity level. And to hear these perps using this, you heard what I just said. They are literally saying, before we made this feeling be more intense, did you not feel something? Jesus. And this is, we proved it. You can rip your balls like this, go. Let's go. You're grown-ass men out here forcing people to get stimulations and then try to find ways to make them accept it. Death comes to all of us. If I suffer in my death, I'd rather die in the suffering with this dignity in the sufferance. But living life like you, as easy as it is, as humiliating as it is at the same time, and as it's degrading and evil as it is, no. There's a price that, shit, these people, to be determined how it's going to come to them. It's not going to be free. You sold your children, they are here thinking we are at war. It's like, no, you're not. You are a retardation. You're cognitive warfare, meaning that you have to dumb yourself down. Forcing men and women to have this reaction stimulations toward young people, from children and kids and young adults. For me, I'm not even sure if this person is like a young adult or a teenage kid. I don't know. But I know when they start putting